Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for Gemini in May 2019. What's going on, Gemini? How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. All right, guys, right off the bat, for those who will be celebrating, happy birthday come the month of May, or at the end of May, I should say. For those early Geminis who will be celebrating at the end of May, I hope you guys have a fabulous birthday. Hopefully you have a good message in here today. I hope you're spending it with people that you love and that love you back, and it's a festive time and you have a big old smile on your face. And if you're eating a slice of cake, cut one off for me. Eat it in my, not my memory, because I'm not dead, thank God, but eat it in my place, or honorary cut me off a slice of cake or something like that. If you can't tell, Gemini, I like cake. I love cake. It's like a thing. Anyway, anything else besides your birthday message? No, not really. So let's just go ahead and get into the spiel, okay? Gemini, I shuffled off camera for your to save time, so that's your main spread there. What I'm going to do now is shuffle for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying on the table face up, that is when the reading begins. Timestamp, if you want it, is in the description box below. Also down there is all the information you need if you want to book a personal reading with me. If you have put off booking a personal reading with me, you've been thinking about it, and you've kind of been like, I don't know, I would say do it soon, because in the month of June, I will be changing things around here on the channel. So the price for my most in-depth reading is going to go up. I am going to introduce 2 different types of readings to the channel to kind of offset that change. But ultimately, if you want a really good in-depth reading, clarifiers, oracles, all that good stuff, for 45, 50 minutes sometimes, or more, because I talk a lot, I'm sorry. You could get that now for the low price of $25, okay? All right, guys. Yeah, that's it. Let's get into it, okay? Please show me the outcome for Gemini in May 2019. Gemini's outcome in May 2019, please. Ooh. Yeah? Do we like that? No, we don't like that. Okay, thank you. We like that. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And let's see what you got. Came in a sidewind position like this, so let's see which way it's going to go on the board. Like that? Okay, thank you. All right, and let's go ahead and flip over what came face down. Wow. This is probably going to be a good reading. Yep. And good for you. Good for you. All right, Gemini, let's see what's shaking, okay? Please show me Gemini in May 2019. Please show me where Gemini is in May 2019. Please show me. Excuse me. Right here. Yeah, all right, lovely. That's a good position to be in, I'd say. All right, Gemini, coming into May, you come in with the energy of the Magician. So your secondary card, Magician, is ruled by Mercury. So it is associated with you and Virgo. So you might have a Virgo or another Gemini of significance in your life, but it does not have to be, because I asked where you are, and this is where you are. So in the kitchen, right? In the lab, cooking something up. So you're in this, not necessarily plotting and planning, but you are in a point, or in a position of creation. You're in a situation, or the circumstances are lining up for you, and you know, sort of all your ducks are in a row is kind of what I'm getting, and like you are ready to launch is how it feels. I think that you're ready to get something off the ground. You're ready to move on an idea. You're ready to move on a deal. You're ready to get the ball rolling in some kind of way. And the thing that is significant with the Magician here is that you've had a hand in this, significant hand in this. You didn't do it all on your own, okay? That's the other part of the Magician. Although the Magician represents being a manifester, being somebody who's in control and has a certain amount of, you know, magic or je ne sais quoi about themselves, or ability within a situation, it also indicates most of the time when it comes up, I'm going to say most of the time, if not all the time, that there is some input from someone else or something else, okay? So for my purposes, when I do my readings, I basically say co-creator, right? It's like you own a lot of it, you have a lot of assurance in yourself, you have a lot of confidence in your abilities, in your capabilities, but honestly, guys, there's nothing that the magician does that is all on their own. Even if nobody on this physical earth is involved, someone or something somewhere is involved, okay? So if you want to think of that as God, spirit, your angels, the universe, you know, whatever you want to think of, your spirit guides, whoever, they also help you, okay? So I think somebody here might be, you know, for lack of a better word, kind of an egotist, okay? Where somebody might have this, I've done it all. And to a certain degree, that, again, that might be true. Like, you may not have had support from friends or family. You may have been trying to work on an idea, get something created or cultivated all on your own, and you really have put in the legwork. But ultimately, most of us never do a damn thing by ourselves, okay? So there's someone out there that needs that little bit of a reality check. So if you're cool and you don't have that ego issue going on, forget what I just said and just focus on the part of co-creation and being ready, being poised and just like raring to go. And I think it's because you've done a fair amount of planning, right? So again, there's like this illustration here with the kitchen or the laboratory. And when you do anything in a kitchen or a lab, you have to be precise, right? If you're baking something, if you're making an elaborate meal, or if you're freaking making a hungry man for one, you know, or a Stouffer's meal for one, you really need to follow the instructions. You really need to follow the plan. There has to be a set structure to whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to create, whatever you're going to make, right? So there's this idea for you, Gemini, that you've been working at something and following the steps. You've been patient when you need to be, you've been active when you need to be, and things are just kind of not falling into place, but certainly it feels that way. It's almost seamless, you know what I mean? If you literally are cooking something in a kitchen, there's no mess, there's no fire, nothing has been burnt, nothing has been overly salty, everything is coming out the way it's supposed to, yeah? I feel for you, Gemini, in some ways it's been a long time coming. In other ways, it's kind of serendipitous almost. Like when all the chips were down, when it seems like your back was, you know, you were backed into a corner and you had to come up with something. Eureka, you know, you had a bright new idea, an opportunity came to you, a chance came to you, or you made, you know, you saw like a small window of opportunity and you jumped right through that window. You see what I mean? So that's where I think for maybe the egotist who's out here in this reading, maybe that's where it is. It seems like just when the world was about to collapse on top of you, just when people counted you out and said you were washed up or said you couldn't do it, boom, you proved them wrong. You found an opportunity, you found a window, a chance, and you just like ran right through it. You know, it's sort of like if you watch football, it's kind of like, and I don't know the lingo. I watch sports a little bit, but I don't really know the terms. But, you know, when a running back breaks the line, they break through all of those defensive players and they are able to move the ball down the line. It's kind of like that, where it's just like you would have assumed all those big burly dudes barreling down on one person would have stopped them, but somehow you charge through and you break through the line and you make progress, okay? Now, whatever you're making, whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating, etc., it's still a work in progress. This is not the sign of victory, just having the magician here, but having that power or having that energy on your side is very helpful, because the magician actively cultivates, is actively and consciously involved in all aspects of what they are creating, okay? And of course, if you follow me or you kind of know a little bit about the tarot already, you know that what's essential to him is that he has all of the different elements at his disposal. And I'm saying he, I'm used to saying he. This deck shows females. There's no gender in general tarot, at least. So forget the gender here. But the magician has the wands, the swords, the pentacles, and the cups, right? So all of those elements and how they fit into your life are in balance, or you're portioning them out correctly. So if you're involved in business meetings, if you're having to negotiate contracts, you're probably going to bring your swords and your wands to the table a lot more readily than you would the cups, let's say. because wands and swords, that's dealing with your passion and your integrity and your creative process. And then the swords is dealing with your mental capacities, how you think, how you rationalize, and how you communicate. So when you're having to go back and forth across a conference table, ironing out details in a contract, it wouldn't really behoove you to bring the cups out, which is your more emotional, vulnerable, maybe the intuitive part of the cups would be helpful, but some of that cups energy would have to be shelved, okay? So I hope you get what I'm saying there. Now, that's where you start. Where you're going, up. All of this is amazing. I just glanced down at it just now, and I'm like, holy hell, beautiful. So I think, yeah, man. So for you guys, like I said, an opportunity comes upon you, or you seek out an opportunity and it comes up golden. It comes up like a winner. Ace of coins or ace of pentacles, however you want to think of it. So this is practical. I'm getting rewards. So some of you are like being gifted something, maybe a bonus in your next paycheck, or some type of, vacation, or I don't know if many companies do that anymore, like reward their employees with like vacations or spa days and things like that. But whatever it is, you're being rewarded in the material world, in your material world. So with money, with gifts, with prizes, with maybe even time off. Like I know my company, they don't give you money, but they'd be like, hey, you want a half day? Yes, I do. Give it to me. Absolutely. So like that is viewed as a prize where I work. It's just like, we're not going to give you any extra money, but if you would like to go home early and we'll pay you for, yes, send me home. Absolutely. That's coming up at my job. Oh my God. It's like luck of, quick little anecdote for you guys. And Geminis, you can get off track. So you can appreciate it. But over the summer between Memorial Day and Labor Day, they send a person home from each department, every Friday at half day. And I'm like, God, I want to win just once. I just want to win. So hopefully that'll come up for me. But anyway, so it's something like that. In terms of if you're being rewarded or given something, if you're not seeing, a bump in your pay, if you are, you have rotten luck and you've never, all right, Gemini, saved by the camera there. I messed with the settings last time I was on the camera, so it fudged things up a little bit there, but that was good because it cut me off in the middle of a diatribe, which is not necessary here. So getting back to it. So some of you are being rewarded with money or gifts or anything like that. If you're not, if you've got like rotten luck and you've never won anything in your life, the other thing that it might be is, like I was saying earlier with the Magician card, is it might be an opportunity where you thought there was none. It might be the opening of a door, the appearance of a door that you literally burst through because, you are just, you're going to strike while the iron is hot. And when you think about it, that's kind of what like magicians do in their careers, right? A lot of them is, they make things appear that weren't there before. So you could think of it simply as that old trick of, pulling a rabbit out of a hat. The magician takes his hat off his head. He shows the hat to the audience. Look inside my hat. There's nothing in here. And then, waves his magic wand. And then out of nowhere, there's a big, white rabbit being pulled out of that hat. So it's like you're able to, through persuasion, through simple, discussions or some type of presentation, or people who are in some way, like I'm getting this idea of second chance with you, or previously they said no, or previously they showed no interest. Now they're like coming around, maybe even without your persuasion, maybe even without any input from you. They've like had a change of heart. They've changed their mind. And now it's like, here you go, Gemini. I've sat and I thought about it. What do you have to show me? What do you have to offer to this situation? Like, I'm really getting a heavy vibe for a lot of you is work, business, or even entrepreneurship. So a lot of you are getting a business off of the ground. A lot of you are stepping into a new industry. You've taken a chance. You're kind of out on a limb, working in an industry that you've never worked in before, or, breaking into something. And for that, I'm thinking it's more creative, you know what I mean? Or like I said, entrepreneurial. Yeah. So lovely. Like you're getting shit done. You're making moves and it's nice. It's very nice. Like, and if there's a caveat, because I like to keep my readings realistic. I don't like to like send you up into the clouds without like a parachute. You know what I mean? So the caveat here is Number one, the magician can become or can have a tendency to be manipulative or, like I mentioned earlier, kind of an egotist. So don't get too full of yourself and don't get too ahead of yourself. The caveat then with the Ace of Pentacles would be, it's a chance. Just because you walk through the door doesn't mean that what's on the other side is going to be golden. Doesn't mean that your work stops as soon as you shake hands on the deal, as soon as the ink dries on the contract. That's not the end of it. Now you have to fulfill the obligations that you said that you would. Now you have to produce the product or produce the service that you said you would, etc., etc. So your work doesn't end simply because you crossed the threshold into this door of opportunity, okay? Now, what happens after that? It's kind of what I was talking about. It was over there just now. Well, that's interesting. And maybe that's where we're going, because I feel like this is sort of no recent pun intended. I kind of think the central point is endgame for you. Interesting. Am I going with that? Yeah. Exactly. Wow. I don't intend to do these things because I'm going to go live. I swear I will one day. And I'm going to show you guys, like, I don't look here. I'm not looking here. I'm looking straight across. And it's just how I am. So it's not like I'm staring down at these cards and getting the story beforehand. It's like I feel it and then I look and I'm like, oh, there it is. That's why. So what I was just saying, the work continues. Two of Wands on the far side of your starting position, right? So on the other side of where you start, sort of further down the road or next step or whatever, you have the Two of Wands. So this is you putting action to your words, action to your ideas, action to your plans, action to all your promises and intentions, okay? The Two of Wands, as you can see, is pretty industrious. And didn't I say that earlier? Oh, wow, that's interesting. Because remember, the magician, she's baking stuff up in a kitchen, right? I think, yes, I know I did. I'm like, why am I saying I think? I know I did. I said something about a lab. Two of Wands. Two of Wands is in a lab. Interesting. So literally, some of you are in laboratories or in kitchens or you're in test kitchens and you're making like new, some of you might be like food science. Like that's a thing, right? At least in my college, it was a thing. And I think in food science, don't you like come up with novel ways to kind of either enhance or somehow evolve the food industry? So new ways of preserving foods, new ways of creating like foods. Like I read about it months ago or a year or so ago, like meatless meat. Like it's not made of meat at all, but it tastes and looks just like meat. I think that's a thing. I think it's a real thing. So that could be some of your jobs or something adjacent to that. So regardless of what industry we're talking about, food, science, it doesn't matter. This is like more than any other Two of Wands that I've encountered so far. I feel that this is more action oriented. I think the other Two of Wands, especially in the traditional tarot, shows someone like thinking and deciding and, planning going forward. Here we see this person, this female character, and she's already in the mix. So it's sort of like hit the ground running. Yeah. As soon as the ink dries, as soon as the handshake is made, as soon as you walk through that door of opportunity, bang, get to work. I feel most of you don't have to be told that. Maybe one or two of you, you're going to want to take a little mini break. You're going to want to catch your breath. You're going to want to kind of be like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Give yourself like a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of a celebration. No, I think you will have to hit the ground running. You better be ready to act as soon as it's your time. Like if this was a play, don't miss your cue, okay? The moment the other player stops saying their line, you jump in there with your dialogue, and it just goes on. You know what I mean? So, a lot, like, between these two, this is a lot of work. So, I think I'm speaking fast, and I think I'm kind of speaking lightly, frivolously, as if it's a no-brainer. And maybe for you it is, but I feel, for you, Gemini, I don't want you to ignore or downplay how difficult of a dance it is you're doing. I feel you've got a lot of irons in the fire. I feel you've got a lot of things that need to be accounted for. A lot of stuff is on your plate right now. And some of you are acting like it's not that way. And maybe it's because you're enjoying yourself so much. I think Geminis like a challenge. I think Geminis like to be, put to the test, made to prove themselves, especially when someone has doubted you, especially when someone says, oh, Gemini can't do it. You're like, hold my beer. That's my cue. Hold my beer, because I'm about to show you what I can do. So I feel that's there. And I think that motivates you. I think that keeps adding coal to the fire, keeps putting logs on your fire. But be careful. Somebody out there, you can burn yourself out by doing that too much. Burning yourself out, okay? So, yeah. Make sure, I shouldn't even say make sure. When you can, especially if this is a building thing, if this is about branding, building up a business, making contacts, delegate when you can and prioritize. Prioritize and delegate, okay? If you are wanting to take everything on yourself, you run the risk of damaging yourself. You run the risk of hurting yourself. You run the risk of becoming too tired and fatigued and exhausted and all of that. And you would have negative effects. That's for some of you. Most of you, you're going to be like, okay, all right, I've been going at this for like 6 days straight. Let me take a day off. Let me just put this on the shelf for a minute. Let me go relax, calm down, get a massage, whatever, and then I'll get back into it. A lot of you are being sensible about it, but there's some of you out there, you're not going to be sensible. So be careful, okay? That's not even attached to anything. It's just what I feel, okay? So, yeah, correct. Up here, combining, well, not even combining, it's applying to your whole reading, but you have the Wheel of Fortune, okay? Oh, Wheel of Fortune. So, tied to Jupiter. So there might be a Sagittarius of significance in your life. Also attached to the fixed signs, so that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Any of those signs might have significance in your life, but they don't have to. So this is kind of going in with what I was just saying. Make sure the time is right. Once you pass through that door of opportunity, once you make the deal, once you get that second chance, once whatever happens, once that ignition gets turned over, don't go shooting down the road at 100 miles per hour. Be mindful of the stop signs, be mindful of when you need to yield, all that kind of stuff. Like, you don't want to get, again, similar to what I said back here, right, with the Magician. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. I feel that in due time, it will come together. In due time, you're going to see the results, see the benefits, see the profits in some cases. So this is more sort of forecasting, I feel, this Wheel of Fortune right now. I think it's speaking to both your present and the future. Yes, okay, thank you. So in your present, this opportunity that comes your way, this opportunity that you've created for yourself, that you've magically made appear, abracadabra, boom, there's my magic door, whatever, that is on time. What happens after, don't get caught up if you don't see the result that you want soon. Don't get discouraged if the initial result is a little bumpy. It's several weeks into May, maybe even into June, and you've been going at this thing for about 3-4 weeks and you're not seeing a profit. You're not seeing people respond to you. If you're in correspondence and negotiating with people, people aren't responding to you in time, and you feel sort of like a pressure or a crunch because they're not doing their part or they're not keeping you informed. Don't panic. Don't get ahead of yourself. It will pan out and it will be on time. The Wheel of Fortune basically, here's the caveat with that, is it's always on time. The Wheel of Fortune, divine timing, essentially, how things play out here in the 3D, it's always on time, even if it sucks for you. So someone delaying you, someone not getting back to you within days, like they're taking a week to respond to you, or you're talking with vendors, you place an order, they say it's on its way, but then it's, delayed because of something on UPS's end, or something because of, their suppliers, blah, blah, blah. That's okay. It's not going to derail the train. It's not going to throw you, it might take you a step or two back, but it's not going to ruin the entire show. So that's the other thing. Sort of like going back to our kitchen metaphor, or even our laboratory metaphor. You don't want to throw out the entire dish. Like, I think I think I'm not like a Food Network person, or somebody who follows chefs. Like, I'm not like Gordon Ramsay's like #1 fan or anything. But I feel that part of being a chef, a successful chef, is knowing when you can salvage a dish and when it's absolutely trashed. So again, like, I worked in a kitchen like once, like over a summer or some shit like that, right? So I learned like this much about culinary stuff. But, and maybe it's bad practice, but I feel like one of the things that I learned was, especially like if it's something like it needs to be cooked a little more, assuming it wasn't out in the dining room for 20 minutes, if it comes right back into the kitchen, still hot, throw it back on the grill. Now that could be, and okay, and there you go. I'm like, because maybe it's not best in like food safety practices, but in terms of the house, in terms of the restaurant, someone orders a steak and they want it medium, right? Goes out to the table, it's not medium, it's medium rare. And so they send it back to the kitchen. Now, again, it might not be best practices for food safety. OSHA, please, if you work for OSHA, please don't report me. I'm not encouraging this, but it's just a metaphor, okay? You put it back on the grill. You heat it till it's medium. You send it back out to the table. Boom. It's now medium. Customer eats it. They have a pleasant meal other than that one hiccup. Perfect. Now, you satisfied the customer. You got the payment for the meal, plus tip, so your staff is happy, and you didn't have to discard food. You didn't have to throw away a perfectly good steak that was only misfired or it wasn't cooked to its full completion. So you saved money. You kept the business happy. You kept the customer happy. The only thing is OSHA's probably like, no, that steak should be thrown away. You know what, OSHA? Lay off. So there's like that kind of feeling with this Wheel of Fortune for you. If you hit a roadblock, if you hit a hiccup or a bump in the road, do not, you just think of the bigger picture. The bigger picture here is I want to make a profit in my restaurant. So every time a customer says my steak is undercooked, okay, if we can fire it back, again, if it comes back to the kitchen in a timely fashion, still heat on the meat, still steam on the plate, put that shit back on the grill. Give it back to them. Why do I want to make them a brand new plate? That's money out of my pocket. That's more time that they have to wait for the entire meal to be ready again. To fire a cold steak again, when I could just reheat this thing for like 3 minutes. Okay, you see what I mean? Again, maybe it's not best practices in food safety, but for your purposes, Gemini, it would work. The customer's happy. You get the money for the meal. Nobody is none the wiser but you and me. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's what I get with the Wheel of Fortune. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay? Now, how you proceed. Oh, that's interesting. How you proceed is with the High Priestess. Oh, secondary card of Cancer as it's ruled by the moon. Some people also sometimes attach Pisces to this, and I'm like, sure. So, but basically water sign energy, basically heavy on the intuition, heavy on having the emotional fortitude and the emotional stability and the emotional intelligence to deal with your circumstances. Now, what I'm getting on top of that is this idea for some of you that this moment has come through consultation with the High Priestess. Now, it could be me. You're watching this reading. Maybe you've watched a few of my readings before. Gemini, you've had like a up and down roller coaster thing, I think, of recent. Like, I feel like earlier this year it was a little rough, but I think the last couple of months or so, you've been okay. But I can't remember everything, so don't quote me on that. But, so some of you are consulting tarot, right? Tarot readers, psychics, mediums, people who read astrology for you. You've been doing that. Others of you have been getting into your own High Priestess energy. So what does my gut tell me? What does my instincts tell me? What do my spirit guides tell me? Maybe some of you read your own tarot, or I'm getting also like runes and crystals. Like some of you are like really deep into that shit, deeper than I am. And that's fine. More power to you. So I'm getting this idea of, I don't want to say faith, but then because the converse side, or not converse, but the pal to that, or the support, not support, the cousin to that is coming from a religious point of view. So some of you have been praying about this. Some of you have been talking to your pastors and your reverends about this. Some of you have been in counsel with therapists about this. Whatever form or fashion you're doing this, you have been in counsel and consultation with someone or something else that you believe has more knowledge or has a little more insight than what you do. Okay? And you have recently really, really relied on this person and their input, or this entity and their input. You know what I mean? I don't think you've made all of your decisions based on what this person has told you, but it has been a great influence on you and a great help. Because I feel that the thing about the High Priestess is she has the perspective of all. She sees all angles. Whether or not she ever tells you, she'll never tell you all the angles, but she can see it from all sides. So whatever you've been muddling through or working your way through, like walking through thick mud, walking through molasses or quicksand, you've been like trying to get momentum, trying to gain some traction into something. By going to this person, by talking to the High Priestess, you've been slowly getting yourself out of that position of having spinning tires and being stuck and not having progress, right? So a lot of you owe a great thanks to the High Priestess. Not saying you have to like write her a thank you note and send her flowers, whoever this is or whatever. No, it's not like that. But like, you didn't, without that input from the High Priestess, whether that's your own internal voice, whether that's your own instincts, your own intuition, or the intuitions and insights of someone else, damn, it came true. And you're like counting your lucky stars. You're counting your blessings, kind of energy with that. And I think the thing here is, yes, because this is, don't forget this person, or don't forget this moment, or don't forget that your intuition was the thing that saw you through. So there is a chance here for you, Gemini, to be a little, to take for granted what transpired between you and the High Priestess, who or whatever the High Priestess is, yeah? There is a chance for you to be short-sighted with how much of an impact that person had, or how much of an impact that spirit or energy or entity or whatever you want to think of had in your situation. The other part is, being that it's in the middle of the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune, this is a chance, an opportunity for you to carry that energy, that connection going forward. So a lot of you have had sort of an awakening. I don't know what type of awakening we're talking about. Could be spiritual awakening. Could be a social or political awakening, in some cases. Could be an awakening of self-awareness, okay, without a spiritual overtone to it. However, whatever way you've been awakened, don't go back to sleep, is essentially what I'm getting here. Don't go back. And that's the thing about the High Priestess. She's a gateway, right? If it was literally a therapist, you could see the therapist every week, every 2 weeks, whatever your schedule is. But now that you've hit a breakthrough, now that you've seen some progress and a little bit of success, you might say, all right, Dr. Jones, I don't need to see you anymore. I wouldn't close that door completely. You can, it's a gateway. But I would keep that open. I would keep that connection open. So if it's literally when you see your therapist, if it's literally once a week I go and I have counsel with my reverend at my church, every week I consult a tarot reader, whatever you're doing, keep it up. Maybe not as frequently, maybe instead of once a week, like I said, maybe every other week, maybe once a month. But I would not turn away completely from the High Priestess, because I think just as you begin to feel that success, you're going to forget this connection. And I don't think that would be wise for you. But it's your life. You can do what you want. Yeah. Now, your final card on the board is you. The Lover's card, Gemini. So, okay, so for some of you, this has sort of been about a union, but I'm not sensing romantic. It can be. Maybe you are getting into business with your partner. Like maybe this whole opportunity is coming because your partner's finally on board. Like you want to start up a family business. They've been like, baby, we got too many bills around here. You have your student loans. I have my student loans. This is not the time to start a business. And you're like, no, 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 listen to me. I have a brilliant plan. And now they're coming around, and now you guys are sort of together making this choice. So for some of you, it has a romantic overtone, but the business thing is real heavy on this for me. Business, creative ideas, all that kind of stuff. So in that sense, you're seeing yourself united with a partner, romantic or otherwise, but I'm feeling more business partner or creative partners, yeah? Seeing eye to eye with the other person, whoever they may be, okay? It doesn't, their sign or who they are, I don't know. But, and it feels destined, or it feels like so right, hand to glove. You know what I mean? Perfect fit is how it feels for you. And again, now that it's come underneath that high priestess, maybe the high priestess is your perfect fit. Okay, this person who counsels you, this person who gives you advice, this person who clued you in on, you know, they could have had a psychic vision. I see for you on the 15th of May, blah, blah, blah. And then 15th of May comes and you're like, holy shit, that person was correct. Me and this person, we have to continue to work together because, you know, they kind of called your shot. They kind of called your life to you. You know what I mean? So for some of you, the partnership is with the high priestess. And again, if that's in yourself, your intuition, your own instincts, that's beautiful. No matter what, I love that together. The other part of the lovers is because, like this, they keep showing me this, like not with my hands, but like a gelling, like a things coming together, like that. Like, that's funny, because they're like, put it down, and then I put it down, go to put it down, and I see, oh yeah, the kitchen and the lab, and okay, so like, making things mold together, like adding this to that equals this, experiments, you know, add cinnamon to the dish and poof, you got a whole new dish, or, you know what I mean? So it's like this, adhesion. There's an adhesion between you and another person. There's an adhesion with you in a certain circumstance or situation, an adhesion between you and yourself, where maybe before you felt really disjointed, you couldn't make a decision, you weren't sure, you didn't have confidence, you were maybe doubting yourself, you were doubting the opportunities that were, whatever. Now you have opportunities, you gain a little bit of traction, and now it's like Gemini is back to one. The two halves of yourself come together and they work together. Yeah? So there's this idea of cohesion, adhesion with the Lovers card, okay? That's lovely. You got a successful reading, eh? Your outcome for May. Queen of Cups, water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You know the spiel. They don't have to be that sign, and it could just be you. Is this Gemini? Let me see. Could be. Some of you are, there you go. For some, this is you, okay? Male or female, it doesn't matter, but you're out there debuting, you know, and maybe that's something you're working on. This could be like a music thing. Thank you. I'm like, debut. That's such an interesting word. Some of you, this could be a music thing. Okay, you're wanting to release an album, release a single, whatever, or do music for a certain project. So maybe you wanted to do, or you were vying to do music on, let's say, a film or a TV show or something like that. And now you're going to be featured. Maybe, you know, like sometimes not sitcoms, but I guess, well, sitcoms do. But TV shows, like they will have a real artist come on the show, like play at a local coffee shop or some shit like that. And it's like, you're the artist, but you're not playing yourself, but you're playing a musician in a coffee shop, and that's like your bit, you know? So some of you might have something like that. Maybe you're a feature artist, like, you know, or an up-and-coming artist, and you're trying to get featured on somebody's album. Something like that. So you're debuting. If it's not creative, debut is still kind of here for you. Like you are on display. People are watching you, so you could be going to not a premiere, but you could be going to like a convention or a gala, a fundraiser, and people are asking you, oh, Gemini, it's so good to meet you. You know, I heard through the grapevine that you are launching this, or you created this, or you're working on this down in the laboratory. Tell me about it. And you're just like, yes, I am. Like you're really reveling in that moment to basically talk yourself up, basically sell your idea or get people more excited about what you're working on, what you have created. So this is definitely loving yourself, loving the spotlight, loving the limelight, loving the attention. And again, for some of you, a little bit of the ego, make sure you rein that in. But if it's not, if you're totally in balance with your ego, if you're totally tempered and you're not getting too far ahead of yourself, this is really just living for the moment and loving it. A wonderful night out, looking nice, brand new dress, fly ass suit if you're a guy or girl, doesn't matter. And it's just like, you look boss, you feel boss, everybody is looking at you saying, damn, Gemini is doing the thing. And you're just like, yeah, I am. Again, going back to what I said earlier, a lot of this is coming from a place of people have doubted you, or the opportunities seemed non-existent. And throughout time, over the next few weeks, maybe even the next few months, or throughout the rest of the year, it doesn't matter. Everybody's on a different timeline, okay? But when you get this debut, when you get this feature, when you are regaled, when people notice you and ask you about, hey, Gemini, that thing that you were doing, that was great. Tell us about it. You're just like, hold my beer. This is another hold my beer moment. Oh, you want me to talk about my great new invention? Okay, hold my beer. And you go up and you tell everybody. You know what I mean? And I'm also getting, with that being the Queen of Cups, just a wonderful, overwhelming sense of satisfaction. Okay? Just contentment, happiness, joy. Oh, you feel good. Like, I feel good delivering this message, but I also feel good like my back is looser. Like, I mean, I don't walk around with a tense back. Well, I guess I technically do, according to my one friend who's a masseuse. Your back is tense. Okay, massage me, stop talking. Anyway, so but I feel like super relaxed. I feel really calm. I feel really lit up in my chest, so lit up in my heart chakra, lit up also in my solar plexus. So you're feeling happy, contentment in your heart, and in your solar plexus, you're feeling confident. You're feeling on top of the world. You're feeling like a fully fledged human being who shines all on their own. All right? Again, if you've got an ego attached to that, temper that down. Be careful, okay? Now your overall outcome, your overall energy for the month, 2 of Coins. So, I think, interestingly enough, again, this is kind of giving me, this deck, the Vanessa deck, is very interesting because it's a lot, at least these 2 cards. I can't recall all of them because I don't use this deck that often. But the 2 of Wands and this 2 of Coins or 2 of Pentacles is a lot more action-oriented than the traditional Rider-Waite deck. I just feel it. So here you are, having choices, yes, of course, because all the 2s involve choices. I could go left, I could go right, I could go up, I could go down, whatever. But as you can see, instead of like juggling those coins, or while still juggling coins, this chick is jumping double dutch. Now, number one, I don't jump double dutch. All I could ever do was turn, and I didn't do it well. But if you can jump double dutch, goddamn, you talented. Okay? So there's this idea of, in the midst of having to choose, in the midst of making decisions, I'm also still light on my feet. I'm also still jumping these ropes. So there hasn't been much of a pause for you. There hasn't been much of a, let me just sit down and think about this. It's like, no, I'm thinking while I'm working. You're thinking on your feet, you know? So there's this, Thank you. I'm like, where is this going? Because I feel like that's already kind of what you know. Going forward, here's what they're saying. Whatever I said before, where you walk through the door, don't rest on your laurels, get to work, hit the ground running. You're going to do that. And if you don't do it, you should think about doing it. Now, going forward, don't forget that while you're still working, jumping double dutch, okay? You still have other things to decide on. You still have other things to choose from. You still have other ideas up and coming. So if you're somebody who's inventing something, or you're somebody who's, you know, if you're, like, again, going back to the music thing, if you are debuting as a feature artist on a song, yeah, feature artists can be launched in this day and age, but if you don't have like an EP ready, people are going to come to you. Oh, you featured on so-and-so's song. That was great. So what are you working on? If you don't have something to tell them, if you don't have something to play for them, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. So again, while you're out there traveling to different, shows, doing the performance as a feature artist, going to different radio shows, blah, 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 whatever you're doing. Very specific example, but apply it to your life. Don't forget to keep writing your own music. Don't forget to start thinking of concepts or thinking of themes and things that you want to do on your own album, okay? So while you're still working, keep thinking about other ways and other things down the line that you want to work on, okay? Like, no rest for the weary, basically. Gemini, we did it. That's your reading for May. My God, it's lovely. Like, I'm just like, damn, go ahead, Gemini. I need a little bit of this. I need a little bit of this in my own life. A little bit of this, Anyway, doesn't matter. That's your reading. If you guys liked it, the like button is down below. If you want to leave comments, let me know how this resonated in your life. I would love to read them. Also, you can share this video across your social media platform for me if you choose. Twitter, Instagram. Can you share this on Instagram? Not sure. But your Twitter, Tumblr for those that use it. Is that even a thing anymore? I don't know. Your own YouTube channel, Facebook, all that good stuff. And also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, Gemini, but this is your first time and you enjoyed yourself or you keep coming back, go ahead and hit that button, man. Let's enter into a semi-commitment with one another. I bring you content for free and you just have to hit that button. That's it. That's all the commitment I need from you. Okay? But of course, if you don't want to do any of those things, I respect those choices. But if you do those things, it helps the channel grow, keeps my videos in circulation. It lets YouTube know I'm doing a good job around here, and they will suggest me and my content to other people who may not have seen me before. So if you want to help a girl out, cool. If you don't, less cool, but I respect you anyway. I'm like too honest for my own good. Anyway, Gemini, I'm going to be back actually pretty soon. I'm going to do your birthday reading. Again, for those who have their birthdays at the end of May, you'll have that. I'm probably going to do another mid-month, so you got that to look forward to. And then sooner than you know it, I'm going to be back and doing your reading in June. So wish me luck. I got a lot of shit I got to do. All right, Gemini, thank you again for watching this video. I love you guys so much. Take care. Bye.